Thank you for the floor. I want to start by saying it's very good to be here at this round table and to contribute to this discussion with my organization experience working with children left behind. And some final points that I will make will refer to policy making and strategic view, our feedback from the field, so to speak. So we as an organization, Alternative Sociale Association in Romania, is based in Iași County, which is part of Moldova, one of the poorest region of Romania, and with the most left behind children. And we work with left behind children since 2005, when we had a lot of activities on school, on secondary schools, on human trafficking and juvenile delinquency. And some teacher asked us for help to manage these children that quote, were very good, average kids that at some point gone wild. Their school performance dropped dramatically, their behavior got worse and skipped school a lot, end quote. We investigated this claim and then found out that the teachers were actually talking about left behind children. This is what happens with teenagers that are left home alone by parents gone to work abroad. Of course, since then we've come a long way. We managed to cover different aspects of the issue. We made the first research in Romania on human trafficking, the first national survey with the support of UNICEF Romania. We offered direct services for more than 1,000 left behind children. I worked personally with around 200 children from Iași County. We offered social care, psychological counseling, material support, and nevertheless, the last but not the least, educational support. We developed tools and methodologies for professionals working with children, psychologists, social workers, school counselors, also guides for parents that are going to work abroad, but also for the caregivers that children stay home with. And of course, for children themselves. There was a big need of training, so we did a lot of trainings for professionals, especially for teachers, but also social workers and psychologists that were very, very eager to find out more on how they could tackle this thing that was they were very stressed about. It was a new thing. They didn't know how to manage these kids. There was a great need of campaigns, information, raising awareness on rights on child protection aspects, and many others. Of course, networking is a very important part of what we do in Romania with Albero de la Vita and other international partners at the level of the European Union. And even we have a partnership with an NGO working on migration and left behind children in China. The next thing that I want to address is very shortly that Romanian children that are left behind need emotional, psychological, social, and educational support. Of course, there's much to be said here, but from our experience as an organization, emotional support should address the way the left behind children cope with the absence of their parents for very long periods of time. We found out that daycare centers are effective. Significant discussions of children with their parents is very important, is needed, and of course many others aspects. Psychologically, left behind children need to express their feeling. They are sad, they feel abandoned, some are overwhelmed with the household chores that they have to do. They have this feeling of being lost and need to be listened and acknowledged as important human beings that matter for the people around them, both for their peers and the adults around them. Socially left behind children and all the family need support to cope with migration setbacks, like the absence of a caring figure, parental guidance, sense of a normal and happy family. These are all very important things for left behind children. Also, there is a need to work with the caregivers. For example, very old grandparents, especially in the rural areas, that would want but just can't look after the left behind children, their nephews, basically, on so many levels. They can't relate with the younger generation. They have a very difficult time trying to care for left behind children. Educational support is essential. For example, we did a lot of after-school activities that worked also as support groups that kids benefited a lot from. Very important for children to have this sense of being useful and being a part of a group. For example, I work with a 7th grade girl, secondary school, that was an only child, and she lived with the mother of one of her classmates, and she was taken care of by that person, because her parents were working in Italy for 7 years now, and basically she remembers her first day of school and her mother taking her to school in the first day, and just after that going to work abroad. And she had no concept of parental guiding. In this case and many others, community-based support is essential for the well-being of left behind children. Moving forward to what I consider to be the second part of my presentation, the policy aspect of the phenomenon. I could say that European Social Fund, but the structural funds as a whole, and the European policies don't address the left behind children as a specific group. Even so, from our experience in Romania, it is quite clear on the professional agenda of the child rights stakeholders that there is a need of support for left behind children. There's a need to adapt the institutional response to migration-related issues like procedures, like collaboration and linking between social care structures and units between in the different countries, social benefits, European level. European Social Fund or national policies don't address specifically the need of transnational families, but I think they should. There are some governmental action in Romania taken that need to be improved and better implemented. A lot has been done, but there's still need for improvement. On the topic of the way the data is collected and structured into the statistics that we have. There already been said here that there's a big difference between our estimates, our practice, and official statistics. Of course, an important fact is that there are some EU-funded projects that address left behind, but only from an indirect point of view. This is the proof that practitioners try to find solutions to assist the left behind children, and European Union policies should just need to facilitate this process. I would like to come to an end by saying that labor migration, in my opinion, is the European Union for the transnational families. For Romanian families, labor migration is a social inclusion tool. They go abroad to work because this is the best way they can get out of poverty and make sure their children have a better future. And we must keep in mind that migration is the expression of the European Union for transnational families and left behind. They don't know and really don't care much about European social funds, regulation, or the benefits of the European policies. The sense of being a European citizen for Romanian migrant workers is given by the fact that they can work abroad. For this to be a fulfilling experience for them, we need to formulate policies to help them help their children. We all benefit from the labor migration at the expense of transnational families and left behind children. We just need to acknowledge them and help these European families cope with this situation. And as a last remark, I would like to mention the European Commission study that was just published a short time now, social impact on emigration and rural-urban migration in Central and Eastern Europe. And I would invite everyone to have a look at the policy brief that goes with this study. It's very helpful. It's very much in line with what we found on the field, what we think it's important for left behind children and their families. And I think we just need to move from recommendation and policy briefs to actions and further on. Thank you.
I mean, it's very clear from your intervention and from the video, which was very powerful, that achieving children's well-being is not about, or not only about, achieving material well-being or tackling tackling income poverty and access to resources. It is very much a much bigger picture that we need to take. But one of the reflections I also had in the case of Romania, that statistics show that 1 in 3 children is living under the poverty level, so is at risk of poverty and social exclusion. Recently, the UNICEF launched the report card on children's well-being. Romania was at the bottom of that index across many of the different dimensions of children's well-being. So, and a reaction to this situation is clearly that parents will seek economic improvements by seeking employment overseas. And there is a lack of understanding around the whole of the child's needs, as you mentioned, in terms of education, social, emotional, psychological support. It's just a reflection in terms of the bigger picture that we need to look at this in the context of the priority of tackling child poverty and social exclusion, but also recognising that to achieve well-being, it's not only about tackling the material deprivation that families are facing, albeit that that's a driving factor.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Roxana. I'm the head of social affairs within the Romanian PermRep, and I think in this case it's more of representing a partner on your discussions. I have prepared some data from Romania, or some measures that my government has taken and will take in the future, but I also am very interested in the discussion on the EU level solution, since I will be one of the persons who will negotiate the recommendation on child well-being, I hope, during the Lithuanian presidency. But first of all, I would start with the obvious. With almost 3 million people working abroad, it is absolutely clear that the situation of children left home drew the attention of the Romanian authorities, who thought to provide some policy responses. We have treated the phenomenon with seriousness, and we are still thinking of ways to improve our reaction. First of all, the data. The Romanian Ministry of Labor, through its decentralized bodies, gathers data from each city hall on the situation of the children left behind. Of course, as you all noticed, at the level of 2012, the official number of children was some more than 57,000, which shows a huge discrepancy between the official numbers and the UNICEF or NGOs estimations. Probably that the number is different because of the lack of implementation of an order that the National Authority for the Protection of Children's Rights gave in 2006. There were no sanctions provided, I think because it was considered that sanction would intrude too much in private life. That's why people did not declare that they were leaving behind and did not declare who is going to take care of the child while they were abroad. Or probably, as Mr. Pascaru told us, there is a lack of information, of awareness between people of this possibility. I'm from Vaslui, for example, also in Moldavia, and I know that the provision of information is scarce at the level of public authorities. In order to remedy the situation, the law on the children's rights protection will be amended probably this year, and the special chapter will be introduced on exactly the children left behind. This amendment is necessary in order to raise awareness among the parents who choose to work abroad, so that they understand the importance of declaring and of informing the authorities of their children's situation. If the authorities know that there is a situation of the child left behind, they can trigger measures in difficult situations. If they don't know, nothing can be done. Another policy response is setting up the day centers that you mentioned, open to every child in risk of separation from his or her parents, children with mobile parents included. The role of these day centers is to ensure the recovery and the development of the child capacities, as well as her parents or carers, in order to avoid the separation from the child from the family. Through a loan agreement between the Romanian government and the Council of Europe Development Bank, 200 such centers will be developed further in the next years all over the country. So it will extend also the areas of service provided, offering also educational and socialization services to children and to their carers, whether parents or people who take care of these children. Also, the staff will undergo very serious training sessions in order to better respond to the needs of children. All these measures are meant to support the child development, but also to give the opportunity to the carers to continue their efforts to integrate, for example, to keep employment, because it's very difficult to care for a child and keep employment at the same time for a strange person, for example, not the parents. Now, a practical project which I was very proud to hear that my ministry was involved in is the project carried out by Ministry of Labor, Biblionet, and Associazione delle Donne Romene in Italia. So the Romanian Association of Women in Italy, called Te iubește mama, Mother Loves You, in which parents working abroad and who don't have the possibility to get in touch and keep in touch with their children on regular basis, have the possibility to see and talk to their children via internet, usually Skype, on weekly basis in the public libraries in that city or village, and in specially designed places, because the meetings, I've been told, they are very emotional, and they need some privacy in order to talk to the children. Through the involvement of the Ministry of Labor, this project is carried out currently in 5 counties in Romania, but in the few years, I hope this year will be the spread to the whole territory of Romania. Now, these are just a few examples. I didn't have time to contact the Ministry of Education to see if they have some policy response, but I'm sure there were debates in Romania regarding the recognition, for example, of diploma of children in a mobile situation in Romania. I will explain to you why I make the difference between mobile and migrant, but I will do it at the end. Now, these are a few policy responses of the Romanian government. What I can tell you is that we are very aware of the problem, and we are trying to find the policy response. And I believe that the next programming period and the new amendments made to the structural funds, especially to the ESF and the regional development fund, will help us with the earmarking of 25%, with the more involvement of the structural funds in the social field. For example, all these day centers or counseling centers can be set up using both funds. I mean, I am very, let's say, not very pleased, but glad that also at the EU level we have movement. No, I'm not saying only about the European Parliament, but I have to remind you that during the Belgian presidency there was a big conference on child poverty. During the Hungarian presidency, we did adopt council conclusions on child poverty, and now the Commission came with a recommendation. So things are starting to move. Now, to talk about the children left behind and to put it in a EU-wide policy, I don't really believe this is feasible, because it is a situation that only a few member states are concerned with, and usually EU makes EU-wide policies that concerns EU member states. But I think what we can do is, in those member states like mine who have this problem, we should tackle it more using also European instruments. This is and the mobile and migrant. To tell the long-standing position of my government, I know that migration, it's highly used, and we used it for hundreds and tens of years in studies, but we would like to make a clear distinction that since we are all EU citizens now, and there is a EU citizenship, we are in a situation of mobility, national mobility and intra-EU mobility, because the mobile workers have a legal status, or the mobile EU citizens have a EU-covered legal status, and the migrants, we refer to the third country national, which is something else. And this would be all. Thank you very much for listening to me.